Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to the Aquarius season collective energy reading. I'm so excited to be doing this tarot and oracle card reading for the upcoming Aquarius season for 2024. Today I'm going to be reading with the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. Shout out to Jessica. Thank you so much for getting me this deck for Christmas. I'm so excited to be reading with it. We have the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck from Chris Crayons and the Prism Oracle deck by Nicole Pivaroto. So I'm super excited to use all of these today to explore the energy of Aquarius season 2024. Before we get started, I'll ask you to just take a moment to connect to the energy of the present moment. We'll take a moment to close your eyes, take a breath, connect to your body, and connect to the energy of any particular situations, circumstances, questions that you might like clarity or guidance about as we move into and through Aquarius season 2024. Beautiful. And once you've connected to that energy, if you want to imagine wrapping up a little bubble of it and sending it to me across time and space so that I can use it for this reading. Beautiful. And we'll get started. For this collective reading, I'm going to do a 10-card spread where each pull has a particular meaning depending on where it's pulled in the spread. So we'll start at the very beginning, which the first card talks about the overarching energy, the main theme, and the central point of the reading. So, oh, that one is flying and beautiful. The first card that we have here is the Magician in the upright position. So the Magician is the first card. Well, the Fool is the first card, right? The Fool is number 0. Magician is number 1. The Magician talks about bending circumstances to our will. So if you think about a magician, he takes a wand, waves it, thinks about what it is that they want to create, right? And then watches that come to fruition in reality. And so the Magician is a card that reminds us that we all have this power within us. And so as we're moving into and through Aquarius season, this is a huge reminder that whatever it is that we're seeing inside of our mind and whatever actions we're taking based on that picture are going to create the reality that we're visualizing. So what is it that you want to create as we move into and through Aquarius season? All right, let's see. The next card that we have crossing it. This card talks about what's crossing our path. What are the things that are coming up for us right now that we may be encountering as we're moving through time and space? And this one I kind of have to laugh. It's kind of funny because it's the 3 of Cups, which is the card, it's a card that talks about community, which is what Aquarius is all about. Aquarius is the sign of community, friendship, groups, networks, the collective. And Aquarius energy really recognizes our individuality and the strength that each of us has when we fully embody our individual energy, and how collectively each of us embodying and standing in that collective, the individual energy within the collective is what makes the collective so strong. And so as we're moving into Aquarius season 2024, what's interesting about this Aquarius season is that we're not just having the sun enter Aquarius, we're also having Pluto enter Aquarius on the same day. Pluto is one of the slowest moving planets in astrology, and so it doesn't move very often, and it has a slightly elliptical orbit, so the time that it spends in each sign is a little bit irregular. So we just finished a 16-year cycle where Pluto has been in Capricorn, and now Pluto is moving into Aquarius. We got a little preview of this in 2023, but now it'll be moving into Aquarius and staying there for the next 20 years. So it's a pretty significant energy cycle, and when we look at big periods of our life, Pluto is one where it tends to mark these major chapters collectively. And so when we're looking at our own individual astrology, it can be useful to look at that as well, as those might be major chapter markers on an individual basis as well. So with Pluto moving into Aquarius, something that I expect to see is, with Pluto being the planet of intensity, transformation, death and rebirth, power, there's likely going to be a resurgence of personal power, a death and rebirth in terms of identity, maybe on a longer term scale, right? But also this stepping into our power on an individual level. And so over the course of the next 20 years, I'm sort of excited to see what might unfold as we lean into who we truly are and who we came here to be on an individual level, and how our unique energy wants to express. However, we also have community crossing our path. So as we're moving through Aquarius season this year, something to consider is, who are the people that you have around you? Who are the friends that you can lean on? Are you nurturing those relationships? What do they mean to you, and what does it mean to you to nurture those relationships and to maintain those friendships? If you want someone to be friends with you, are you behaving the same way towards them that you would want your friends to behave towards you? Is it clear? Are you being kind? Are you reaching out to somebody who might be going through a hard time and making sure that you're nurturing that? Or if you're going through a hard time, are you reaching out and going, okay, who are the people in my community I know I can depend on? Maybe now's the time to nurture and lean on some of those relationships so that we can encourage and support each other, because going into that transformation of individuality, it's not always a comfortable transformation because we're stepping into something that we haven't fully embodied before, right? And change, our brains are naturally designed to avoid things that we're unfamiliar with. And so change can be really scary. So lean on your communities, consider your friendships, your groups, your networks. Who are those people who you really want to have close to you right now, right? And this picture in particular is a picture of 3 women. So if that's something that means something to you, awesome. If not, just whatever group, community, network, friendships are available to you at this time to lean on, tap into those and make sure that you're putting emphasis into that energy. All right, for the underlying energy, I'm pulling the bottom of the deck. We have Page of Wands reversed. The Page of Wands, when we have it upright, pages tend to talk about learning energy. Knights tend to talk about moving action and energy forward, but before you can become a knight, you have to study as a page for 4 years. And that's, you know, a while to study. And so it gives you time to develop a certain level of understanding and mastery of whatever it is that you're working with. When we have Wands energy, Wands tend to talk about action. It tends to talk about driving things forward and things that we feel passionate about enough to move things in 3D reality. So when we have the Page of Wands reversed, it's sort of like there's a lack of clarity, or we haven't quite figured out how it is we want to move an idea forward, whether that's romantically, in business, in our personal lives, with our career, in regards to our friendships, communities, groups, networks, in regards to our family relationships, in regards to our exploration or travel of the world, right? Whatever it might be, there is likely a big idea here that's kind of developing below the surface, or maybe you're consciously aware of it, but you haven't figured out the how of it yet. Right? And so this is kind of a card that in the root position or in the underlying energy is saying, all right, right now we're going to release a little bit of the how. We're going to let some of the how go and really think about visualizing, what is it that I want that future to look like? What is it that I want that to feel like? Maybe I don't need to worry about the how, right? But just visualize, what would it be like to be at that level of success? So just an example for my personal life is I'm thinking about the future that I want to have. And from a conscious perspective, sometimes it can feel like, oh, how am I going to scale my business, my income, my energy to be able to support that level of wealth, that level of whatever it is that I want, in order to be able to pay for a higher level of living, pay for a more luxurious level of living, pay for some of those things on my vision board, or spend the time, spend the energy to be able to invest in some of these bigger energetic projects that I have in my mind. Rather than worrying about, okay, how am I going to get from here to there? I'm starting to think more about, all right, I'm going to put myself in the energy of that and just think about what it would be like in that day, right? So while we have the Page of Wands reversed, rather than figuring out the how of point A to point B, this might be more of a time to start figuring out, okay, whether it's that dream relationship or that dream living situation or that dream career or whatever it is that next level of your life looks like for you that you're hoping for, rather than worrying about the how, worry about what you want it to look like and then go from there. All right, past influences. Let's see what we've got. Oh, the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so coming from the past, we've got balance. Give and take, right? Balance is a verb. This is something where sometimes you're going to have to lean more into your feminine. Sometimes you're going to have to lean more into your masculine. That's just part of how energy works. That's part of how movement works, right? If we try to stand like this is technically balanced. However, we have to hop in order to get everywhere if we're going to maintain equal balance on the masculine and the feminine. And try hopping around your house all day. See how much energy that takes, how far you get. Good luck, right? I would much rather walk because it's going to take a lot less energy, even though sometimes I'm going to be leaning more to the right and sometimes I'm going to be leaning more to the left. With our energy and with our balance, sometimes you're going to have to lean more to one side and sometimes you're going to have to lean more to the other, and go with the flow in order to figure out what balance feels like based on the given terrain also, right? Because if you're on uneven footing or if there's a bump in the road, you're going to have to respond in a slightly different way than if it was completely flat. So this is coming from the past. Past energy says we have been balancing. We have been moving with some of this, like maybe we've been leaning this way, maybe we've been leaning that way, and trying to figure out, okay, how do I balance finances, energy, all of these different things that, maybe love, maybe focus? What are those different things that are useful and important for you to focus on, and how have you been balancing them already? Okay, the current trajectory, vision, outcome, where we're going. Oh, interesting. We've got strength reversed. So we might have lost sight a little bit of our internal power, our internal strength, and this is a big, big call to remind yourself who the heck you are. Goodness gracious, do you know how awesome you are? Do you know that you've survived every single thing that has tried to hurt you and kill you up to this point? Every single thing you have survived. Good job. You are awesome. Damn, look at you. Look at you, okay? Give yourself a little pat on the back right now. Give yourself a little round of applause right now. Thank you. Thank you. Are you clapping with me? Thank you. Good job. You've been doing awesome. All right, where are we going? The moon. All right, it's time to get a little bit more in touch with our feelings, maybe go a little bit below the surface, right? Sometimes when we are feeling like our strength is a little bit out of reach, or maybe we've lost some of our strength, or we feel like it, right? You haven't. Still, we just did the round of applause. But when we get that sense of disconnection, sometimes we can try and distract ourselves and stay at the surface, or stay above and stay avoiding and looking away from it. And what that tells our subconscious mind is that it's not safe for us to look at the problem. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn and face it head on and just look at it. Because once we look at it fully, it can't get any worse than that, right? You've already, there it is in its fullness. You've turned on the lights. The monster in the closet can't get any scarier than it is now that the lights are on and you're looking at it. All right, so now that the feelings in your closet we've got the lights on and we're able to look at them. Okay, what are they trying to tell you? Something that can be really useful to understand is that when we have sensations in our body, whether that's an emotion or a physical sensation, it's a way for our subconscious mind and our body to communicate with us in a way that's meant to keep us alive and prolong our survival. So just like when you feel hungry, it's because eating food is likely going to help you survive, prolong your survival, give you the energy that you need to survive. When you feel an emotion like sadness comes when your mind goes, ooh, I think we've had a little too much disconnection, and you could probably use some connection with other people. You can use some positive connection, some positive interaction. Let's create a little bit of sadness so that you seek out comfort, right? But the communication is not necessarily like 1, 2. Like with hunger, it's a little bit easier. We can understand, oh, hunger, food in, clears hunger, right? We're taught that from a very young age, but not all of us are taught, oh, if you're sad, you might be feeling disconnected. If you're angry, you might be feeling threatened. You might be feeling like something is a threat to your safety and you need to protect or defend yourself in some way, right? If you're feeling joyful and happy, your mind's likely perceiving that you're doing something that continues your survival and helps your well-being overall. So as we start to understand what these emotions and sensations are trying to tell us, it can be a lot easier to work with them. So as we're moving through Aquarius season, I encourage you to lean into your emotions, not in a way where we are drowning in them, right? Because Aquarius is the water bearer. So as we're moving through Aquarius season, this is also giving us this advantageous energy to really look at our emotions without getting stuck in them, in the heaviness of it. So, and not get stuck on the flip side, right? Where sometimes we can get stuck in the over-analysis of it, and we're thinking and thinking and thinking about it, and we think sometimes that if we understand it, that will clear it, but understanding it better doesn't actually help you solve the problem more. It's just like, if I have a clog in my drain and I go, okay, I really need to understand it, and I buy an x-ray machine so that I can see into the drain, and then I go, okay, well, I'm going to get a tiny little camera and dangle it down the drain so that I can really see it, and I'm going to do all of these different things so that I can completely understand the problem. I might have a better view of the clog in my sink, but I don't have any more function in my sink than I did at the beginning. So maybe it would be more useful to focus on what would clear the blockage rather than understanding the blockage, right? So when it comes to sensations, what's going to help you move, shift, clear that sensation rather than just understand it? Useful. And so I think Aquarius season energy can help us, because Aquarius, as the water bearer, is really useful for analysis and can help us look at this and analyze, where is it going to be the most useful for me to put my energy in terms of clearing some of the emotional weight that might have been holding me back, might have been keeping me stuck, and allowing myself to feel the feelings as I move into this new chapter of self-expression, right? I'm creating something new that's never been created before. That's what the magician is telling us. Yeah, I'm relying on the support of my friends as I move into a new chapter. I might not fully know what that new chapter looks like, but I've spent a long time going, like, strengthening myself to get here, right? The balance card in the past position says to me, you already have the power, you already have the skill, you already have the experience that you need in order to keep going. Strength reverse, we might be feeling a little disconnected from our strength, but it's okay, because once we understand, lean into, feel those feelings and move through them, understand that they're not trying to kill you, they're actually trying to do the opposite, they're trying to keep you alive, we're going to be okay. All right, we've got 4 cards left in the spread. Next card talks about us, you, your energy in the situation. What do we got? Oh, Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so some of us might be moving houses, moving careers, or changing jobs. Some of us might be moving a project forward, right? So when we have knights, just like I talked about when we talked about the page, it takes 4 years of being a page before you become a knight. And then once you're a knight, you get a horse in the tarot. And so once you're on a horse, you get to drive action forward. So that's what knights are all about. They're all about moving that momentum forward. And so when it comes to pentacles, pentacles talk about earth energy. They talk about our material energy, money, resources. Sometimes they can talk about things that we build with our hands or things that we bring into 3D reality. And so when we have the Knight of Pentacles here, this is encouraging us and saying, you already are bringing the thing into reality. You're already walking the path, whether you're changing jobs, whether you're going after a new career, or just simply like realigning or tilting the trajectory on your career, whether you're moving houses, considering moving houses, starting to plant seeds for maybe moving houses, or even just looking at the house that you have and going, what could I do right now that's going to improve my living situation for me and help me continue to move energy forward? So this is an exciting card to see in this position. Okay, the next card talks about external influences, so where we might be feeling influenced from other people, other situations, circumstances, etc. And we have, okay, we got the Nine of Wands reversed. So Nine of Wands, when we have this upright, it talks about this perseverance, this force, right? And so it's kind of like this I'm almost there energy of there's just one more hurdle to get over and then I'll be done. When we have it reversed, it's sort of like this, oh, I'm getting the sense of like an almost blockage or like a disconnect where it's unclear. There's just like a sense of a lack of clarity with this one. It's kind of unusual. I might even pull a clarifying card for this one because it just doesn't feel clear. Yeah, we got Page of Pentacles. So it's sort of, it feels like an earthly lesson right now. So the external influence is the earthly lesson. So whatever earthly lesson hasn't concluded and needs to be wrapped up is probably whatever the external influence is, right? So that could mean different things. That could mean it has to do with money because we have a pentacle involved. It could not have to do with money, and it could have to do with relationships. It could have to do with energy. It could have to do with health. It could have to do with time, right? So there are different ways that that could express. Chances are that you're learning that something is of value to you through this experience, and you're learning what your values are and how you want to move in terms of your energy, your actions relating to those values. All right, next card talks about hopes and fears. Ooh, this one like perfectly sums up both hopes and fears in one card. Sometimes I feel like I need to draw 2 cards, and it's really interesting because typically they will be one more positive and one more challenging card, so you can kind of understand why one might be a hope and one might be a fear. This one, I feel like I only need to draw the one that really feels like it sums it up, where it's the end of a chapter, right? The world is like this ending, it's this completion, it's this closure, it's this completion of a cycle, right? Circles are part of that cycle and representative of things that they come around and around and around and around. And while they might not have a distinct beginning and end, there are beginnings and endings within them, right? And so when we have the World card in this position, to me, this is saying like, oh, the thing that we're both most hopeful for and most afraid of is this chapter closing and ending. And so one thing that I'm always really grateful for that I've learned over the last couple of years that's brought me a lot of peace is all of those good things that have happened in your past are safe. No one can get them. Nobody can come and take them away because they've already happened. And even if you sat and tried really hard to go back in time and be there or change something that happened, you can't. Just as much as with a bad thing that happens that you wish you could go back in time and change, You can't change it. Well, you can't go back in time and change the good things either. They're there. They are cemented. And so every good thing about this chapter, you get to keep it and take it with you. That never goes away. And there's going to be so much room for so much new growth in this next chapter. Okay, final card. Oh. Guys, Six of Wands. Okay, Six of Wands is victory, success. Look at her. She has determination. She has willpower. She has put it to the test. And now she is in front of a roaring crowd. They are applauding her. They are celebrating her. She has the laurel wreath of champions. And this is the card that talks about the final direction, the outcome, where we're headed, our trajectory, as long as we continue down this path of energy. So it seems like although there might be some emotional navigations to work through as we wrap up one chapter of our life, wrap up certain things in our life, and step into the embodiment of something new, figure out how we want to be the magician in our own lives, wave that wand in order to create something beautiful for ourselves. Remember that we have the power to move our physical reality in any way that we want to. We are the Knight of Pentacles. Know that there's so much, it's safe to put your burdens down. It's safe to release things from external pressure, right? If anybody has been giving you external pressure, this also feels like a call to like put it down and figure out what is really important to you. It's okay to let things go, because even though we're both excited and maybe a little bit afraid of what this next chapter might bring and what it means to close and end one chapter, the future looks so, so bright and successful. All right. Ooh, feels so complete. I like, oh, it's so wonderful when it wraps up. I almost don't know if we need the oracle cards, but we'll give them to you just for fun. All right, what else we got? We'll do one prism, please. Oh, and one has flipped over. Confidence. It was the other way in the deck. So I suppose that means this is our card. Confidence, which especially with that strength reversed is a nice little reminder. Confidence also is self-trust, right? I think a lot of people have a vague idea about what confidence is, but when it comes down to it, confidence is this trust and belief in yourself that you're going to be able to handle what comes up in that situation, right? So how can you build more trust with yourself? Because that's going to build more confidence. And finally, we will wrap up with a animal spirit card. What is our animal spirit guiding us through Aquarius season as a collective? Ooh, we get two, because they came out together. Ooh, a hyena and the black egg. All right, so let's see what this says here in the book. Hyena is a fire animal. There she is. Okay. Humor, wit, and sarcasm. The hyena personality is a jokester and a crowd pleaser, but below the surface, there are unfulfilled dreams to be realized. When the hyena card appears, it's time to reflect on your reliance on sarcasm and humor to express your truth. Are you using jokes to hide old resentments in relationships or to mask things that you feel uncomfortable discussing? What would happen if you took your goals seriously? When in balance is charming, witty, fun to be around. When out of balance is scrappy, petty, or suspicious. To bring into balance, sobriety. Especially relevant for anybody participating in Dry January or Dry 2024, or Dry Life, whatever you do. Okay, then we have black egg, which is throat chakra. All right, speaking from the authentic voice, the truth. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies, not even white ones. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, or perhaps public speaking. Sounds draw us in, books draw us in, the concept of the truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself? And what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others want to hear, gossip, or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. It is available at every moment in every situation. It is the epicenter of truth, the birthplace of our voice. And it's got this cool spiral picture. So we have a symbol of a spiral, we have black egg, we have confidence, we have hyena. We have this beautiful spread that is encouraging us to really go for it this Aquarius season, to believe in ourselves. And to finally wrap us up, I will pull us an affirmation from the Power Thought cards by Louise Hay. I love ending my readings with this, whether it's a personal reading with like a one-on-one client, or my collective readings, or my personal readings for myself, because there's such a like positive, nice little way to wrap things up. And 2 fell out. We've got, there is no blame. I release the need to blame anyone, including myself. We are all doing the best we can with the understanding, knowledge, and awareness we have. And every thought I think is creating my future. The universe totally supports every thought I choose to think and believe. I have unlimited choices about what I think. I choose balance, harmony, and peace, and I express it in my life. Beautiful. Awesome. So on that note, thank you so much for tuning in for the Aquarius season 2024 collective energy reading. I feel like it's been so encouraging. I'm actually really excited to move through this season and see how it all plays out. If you enjoyed today's reading, it would mean so much to me if you would follow along, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all of the things. And if you're interested in a personal reading, I will link my calendar below so that you can book your appointment there. If you don't see a time that works for you, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram and I am happy to book a custom appointment time with you. I am sending my love. I hope you have a wonderful Aquarius season, and be sure to check out your individual sign reading, which will be coming soon.